Thank you for wasting our time today. I understand this is a marriage proposal, but we do not approve. Please leave and don't come back. When we visited my boyfriend's family to announce our engagement, his mother's disdain was palpable. I had sensed from the beginning that his parents were not fond of me, but I wasn't going to back down now. I took a deep breath and introduced myself to my future in-laws. My name is Marina. I'm 26 and work in the general affairs department of a manufacturing company. I have been dating your son, Travis, since last year. He's 3 years older than me, and we work together. His gentle demeanor and the warmth in his smile are what drew me to him. We both live alone, so we often visit each other and enjoy our weekends together. We've built a happy relationship. My parents live nearby, and I frequently bring Travis over. They really like him, and when he visits, they always prepare special meals. Travis gets along well with my father, and I thought everything would be fine, even after marriage. However, Travis has always been hesitant to introduce me to his parents. When I asked him about it, he seemed troubled. Could you wait a bit longer? My parents are nothing like yours. I wish I'd been raised by people like your parents. His sadness was evident, and I wondered if he had a strained relationship with his parents. I decided to wait until he was ready to discuss it. I wasn't in a rush to marry, and I thought it would be best if he told me when he felt comfortable. But life often takes unexpected turns. One holiday, as Travis and I headed to our favorite restaurant, something surprising happened. As we were shown to our table, Travis's expression suddenly shifted to shock, and he began to fidget uncomfortably. What's wrong? I asked, noticing Travis's sudden discomfort. He seemed at a loss for words, fumbling for a response. Well, he said, avoiding my gaze. I began to worry that I had somehow caused his unease. Just then, a woman in her 50s approached our table. Oh, is it that dear Travis? I haven't heard from you in a while. I was wondering what you were up to. She greeted Travis warmly, but her eyes, which had a distinctive downward slant, gave me a piercing look. Her neatly tied back hair accentuated the severity of her gaze. As I met her stare with confusion, she let out a dismissive chuckle. Are you really spending time with someone like her, Travis? You're such a good kid. If you don't like her, you need to be straightforward. Otherwise, girls like her won't get the hint. Travis's face tightened, and he glared at the woman. I won't tolerate any disrespect towards her. The woman fixed me with a cold stare. It's a shame my son is being deceived by someone like you. Leave him alone right now. She turned and walked towards the cashier, paid her bill, and left the diner. What was that about? I asked, looking at the woman's retreating figure. Travis's voice was weak as he explained, that was my mother. A few years ago, she forced me to break up with someone I was seriously considering marrying. She said she wouldn't accept a marriage if it meant dealing with a mother like her. So that's why she was so hostile. Yeah, if you decide to stay with me, there will be many complications. Should we end things here? Don't worry, I'll keep my personal issues separate from work and make sure it doesn't affect you. Travis looked genuinely pained. I understand, but I still want to be with you, Travis. Do you really want to break up with me? Travis looked astonished at my response. You know how my mother is. If you marry me, it will be a burden on you. I don't mind. I think dealing with family issues is part of marriage. Besides, we don't have to live with her, right? If she insists, I'll request a transfer and we can move far away. Travis gazed at me intently. I returned his look with a reassuring smile. Then I feel reassured. Is it strange if I propose to you? Travis asked. Are you sure? I responded, a mix of excitement and embarrassment making my cheeks flush red. Yes, of course. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, Travis said, his words making me feel a wave of relief as his smile brightened. Feeling reassured, I took a deep breath and knew we were ready to introduce ourselves to my parents. They were thrilled by the news and eager to hear how we had come to the decision to marry. I knew this would eventually lead to questions about my soon-to-be mother-in-law, so we tried to downplay the situation, hoping to shift the focus. But my mother wasn't having it. Have you already met Travis's parents, or is that still pending? She asked. Travis and I were caught off guard by her question. No, I don't plan on telling them about our marriage just yet, Travis replied. What? Why not? My mother asked, her surprise evident. Because I'm certain my parents would never approve of our marriage, Travis said, causing my mother to gasp in shock. My father, with a stern expression, spoke up. That's unacceptable. Marriage is a union of two families. Your mother would be devastated if she found out you were married without her knowing. You should at least make the effort to meet them. If they still refuse to accept you, come back to us, and we'll help. My father's words were firm and comforting. Despite the reassurance, Travis looked at me with concern. I'm fine, I said, offering him a reassuring smile to ease his worries. I was determined that if we could overcome this challenge, we'd find our true happiness together. Later, Travis informed his parents that I would be coming to introduce myself. Although they didn't seem enthusiastic, he managed to arrange the meeting. His father, a CEO, lived in a grand house with an expansive yard. As we arrived, a large dog began barking. Travis approached with a smile, soothing the dog, who then allowed me to pet him too. While we played with the dog, the front door opened, and Travis's parents appeared. His mother, with her sharp, assessing gaze, radiated an intimidating presence, while his father, equally aloof, looked down at me with a clear sense of superiority. Don't touch our dog, you're disgusting. That was the first thing Travis's father said to me. He didn't offer a greeting, only a sharp reprimand. I felt deeply uncomfortable. How dare you speak to her like that? If you continue to act this way, I won't hesitate to cut ties with you, Travis said, his voice filled with resolve. His parents stared at me with hostility but kept their comments to themselves. They reluctantly invited us into the house. As I entered, I couldn't help but reflect on how Travis, despite his gentle eyes, seemed so different from his father. It was odd because Travis's kind demeanor contrasted sharply with his father's harshness. I realized that genetic traits sometimes skip generations, and it's common for children not to resemble their parents in every way. It seemed best not to dwell on it. Inside, as I took in my surroundings, a middle-aged man in a suit appeared. Welcome home, young master. He greeted Travis with a deep bow and a warm smile that was so genuine it made me smile in return. It's been a while, Mr. Williams. You're all grown now, young master. Mr. Williams' smile was heartfelt, and it was the first time I'd seen Travis genuinely smile since we arrived. He then introduced me to Mr. Williams. This is Mr. Williams, my father's right-hand man. Honestly, he's more like a father to me than my own. My father never paid much attention to me, so Mr. Williams often looked after me. You're the boss's son. I was just doing what was expected, Mr. Williams said modestly. But you've always had a soft spot for me, haven't you? I have to say, I like you more than my father, Travis replied with a chuckle. Seeing Travis laugh like that was a rare and heartwarming sight. As we chatted, my mother-in-law stormed out from a room at the back of the house. Marina, what are you doing? Come here right now, she demanded, her voice sharp. She directed a fierce glare at Mr. Williams. What are you doing here? Slacking off. How many times have I told you to stay away from Marina? I'll make sure my husband hears about this. You'd better get back to work. Yes, ma'am. I'll do as you say, Mr. Williams stammered, quickly nodding before exiting the room. I wondered if being the CEO's secretary meant having to constantly cater to the CEO's wife's whims. Travis shot his mother an angry look. Why do you always treat Mr. Williams so badly? He's worked so hard for Dad. Quiet, you should follow your parents' wishes. I'll handle Mr. Williams. Now come over here, she replied curtly. Travis and I followed her to the living room, where we took our seats on the sofa across from my in-laws. My mother-in-law wasted no time getting to the point. Thanks for wasting our time today. I understand you're here to get our blessing for your marriage, but we don't approve. Just go home and forget about this. I had anticipated her harsh words and remained unruffled. No, thank you for taking the time to meet with us. Travis and I are in love, and it's natural for us to want to marry. Don't you agree, father-in-law, mother-in-law? My mother-in-law let out an exaggerated sigh. Oh, you really don't understand anything about marriage, do you? I've looked into you since our last meeting. You're just an average woman from an ordinary university, working at a small company. You've managed to ensnare my Travis, but do you really think you're good enough for our family? Marriage is about making a good match. Mom, Marina, and I work at the same company, in the same role. If Marina is inadequate, then so am I. We're a good match, Travis defended. Travis, you're different. There must have been a reason for you to lower your standards and join that company. This woman had no other option, and besides. My mother-in-law smirked, her gaze mocking as she turned it towards me. It seems like you come from a poor family. Are you just after our money? Her insinuation made my blood boil. I had promised myself not to let her provoke me, but when she insulted my family, I couldn't hold back. Please don't assume we're poor. What's wrong with calling it as I see it? Living in a rundown 50-year-old house, driving a car that's a decade old. Did I touch a nerve because I'm right? This is exactly why I can't stand people with less. My family home was built by my great-grandfather, a carpenter, and it holds sentimental value for us. As for the car, we simply like it and maintain it well. We're not poor. You did your research, didn't you? You should know what my parents do for a living. Yes, I know your father is a university professor and your mother is a high school teacher. I acknowledge their jobs are respectable. However, there's still too much of a gap between our families. Listen, Travis is set to inherit his father's business one day. Don't think for a second that the daughter of mere educators is fit to marry my son. With that, my mother-in-law let out a loud, derisive laugh. Travis stood up, his face hardening into an expression I had never seen before, a stark contrast to his usual gentle demeanor. It was a waste of time trying to talk to you. I'm severing ties with you all. I can't forgive you for bad-mouthing someone I care about. Marina, let's go. There's no point in trying to convince them anymore. Travis grabbed my hand firmly and we left their house. I'm sorry, Travis said as we walked away. I'll explain to your parents why we couldn't even have a proper conversation. Please, don't say you won't marry me. I could only nod in response to Travis's earnest plea. We went directly to my parents' house and recounted what had transpired. Travis had anticipated this scenario and had recorded all of my mother-in-law's comments. After listening to the recording, my parents deliberated for a moment before responding. Yes, his mother's comments were rude, but you two are giving up too easily. We'll work on a strategy, so you should continue with your wedding preparations. If you both have decided to marry, parental approval isn't essential. However, it would be best to seek Travis's parents' blessing if possible. My mother's calm words helped us feel reassured, and Travis and I nodded in agreement. We decided to leave the issue of Travis's parents to my parents and focus on planning our future together. A month later, my parents called us back to their home. When we arrived, we were surprised to find Travis's parents and Mr. Williams gathered around a small table. As we joined the group, the room felt a bit cramped. I braced myself for more snide remarks from Travis's parents, but they remained silent. It was my father who began to explain what had transpired during our absence. Travis's parents did some research on us, so we decided to return the favor. They married 30 years ago, shortly after Travis's mother became pregnant. At that time, his father was just starting his company. Mr. Williams, who was then a regular employee, supported him faithfully. Before my father could continue, Travis interjected. That's all well known in our family. Mr. Williams started as an ordinary employee but earned his way up to become my father's personal assistant due to his hard work. My mother essentially raised me on her own while my father was busy running the company. Mr. Williams supported not only my father but also my mother during those times. My father nodded in agreement. Yes, Mr. Williams did support your family with remarkable dedication. Now, I want to shift the focus a bit. As a genetic researcher at the university, I can tell you that children inherit half of their DNA from each parent. Even if they appear quite different from their parents, they still inherit half of their genes from each. What's your point? Travis asked, looking puzzled. I shared his confusion over why my father was bringing this up. My usually calm father now wore a serious expression as he addressed Travis's parents. Please listen carefully. I hired a detective to investigate your family background. Your father is diligent in his work, and Mr. Williams has been a steadfast supporter. Your mother is so dedicated to her housework that it's truly admirable. However, when I examined your photos, I noticed something unusual. Neither of your parents has a widow's peak, but you, Travis, do. This trait is dominant, meaning a child with a widow's peak must inherit it from a parent with the same feature. Additionally, Travis bears a striking resemblance to Mr. Williams, particularly with the drooping eyes and the widow's peak. This led me to consider the possibility that, and that's why I invited your parents here. After my father finished explaining, Travis stared at his parents and Mr. Williams in shock. I'm a French teacher like my mother, and although I excel in my field, I've never paid much attention to such genetic details. Even if I had, I'm no expert in genetics. Breaking the silence, Travis's father began to speak. 30 years ago, I was so absorbed in my work that I neglected my family. When my wife announced she was pregnant, I had been concealing my infertility from her. I was furious about her affair, and she was equally upset over my secret. After a heated argument, I told her that if I were to raise the child as my own, I would forgive her infidelity. In return, she agreed to forgive my deceit. I then made Mr. Williams my personal assistant, closely monitoring him to prevent my wife from continuing the affair. As Travis's father finished recounting his past, he sat there with a blank expression, as if his soul had left him. On the other hand, Travis's mother started to sob uncontrollably. I loved Mr. Williams. I wanted to raise Travis with him. He's a treasure born for my love, and I can't just hand him over to someone I don't know. I absolutely will not allow this marriage. As she wiped her tears and glared at me, Travis's expression turned cold with contempt. I've always known I wasn't loved by you, Dad. I felt my mother's unhealthy obsession with me. I'd often wished Mr. Williams had been my real father. But now, you three are repugnant. Mom, I no longer consider you my parents. Even if Mr. Williams is my biological father, I won't acknowledge him as such. I refuse to forgive any of you. I'm cutting ties and marrying Marina. As Travis declared his decision, his mother rose and clung to him, crying, "This isn't allowed. Travis is mine. I won't let him go to anyone, especially not a commoner. If you want to marry him, we'll live together as a family. I'll permit the marriage, but don't expect him to leave us." When she grabbed Travis's arm, I gently but firmly pushed her hand away. "Ma'am, please stop. Travis is clearly uncomfortable. Do you understand the pain and trouble you've caused him? Probably not, because you're only focused on yourself. If you betrayed your husband to be with Mr. Williams and continued to deceive Travis, I wouldn't interfere. That's a personal matter. But if you're trying to sabotage Travis's happiness, I won't stand for it. You need to prioritize his well-being. If you dislike me, that's one thing, but if you're just trying to manipulate him, you're failing as a mother. From now on, I'm committed to making Travis happy, so please don't obstruct us." After I spoke, Travis's mother cried harder, cursing me as a cruel woman. Mr. Williams tried to comfort her, and we agreed to discuss future matters at a later date. A few days later, Travis's parents formally apologized to us and my parents, accepting our marriage. Travis and I then officially submitted our marriage certificate. Travis moved into my house, and as things unfolded, it became clear that his father could never forgive his mother's infidelity. Though too much time had passed for legal claims, they divorced and divided their assets. Mr. Williams resigned from his position and relocated far away with Travis's mother. Her once opulent lifestyle abruptly ended, forcing her into the impoverished life she had always scorned. She occasionally sends letters asking Travis for financial help, but he ignores them completely. He has severed ties with his father, given their lack of blood relation, and has no intention of being adopted by Mr. Williams, despite remaining legally recognized as his father's son. Without Mr. Williams' support and with Travis's mother gone, the company's performance plummeted, leading Travis's father to resign. His whereabouts remain unknown. A year after Travis and I got married, I noticed that his parents' house was up for sale. Our wedding ceremony was modest, limited to close family and relatives due to the complexities of Travis's family situation. Despite the simplicity, it was a memorable and fulfilling day. Now, we have been blessed with a beautiful daughter. I have decided to quit my job to focus on raising her. My parents visit frequently to help with her care, which has been a tremendous support. Travis and I are committed to supporting each other and raising our daughter with love.